What's up, everybody? Welcome to 2021. And on a more important note, welcome to the Boisvert MMA Roundhouse. You may be noticing how swag and dapper I look, whereas Kyle just kind of looks like a Peaky Blinder. But yeah, this is our Better Late Than Never awards ceremony. Figured we'll go over some awards. Now, most of these are going to be UFC, just because, I mean, basically from January 18th, which would have been Connor the Cowboy, all the way up to December 19th, Wonder Boy versus Neil. Some 40 events. Yeah, we've seen a little bit from Bellator, we've seen a little bit from one and some smaller companies, but this is mostly going to be UFC heavy. And that's why.
BKFC as well.
Well, obviously BKFC, absolutely, but they deserve their own little award ceremony. We're huge fans of BKFC over here, as are you over on Mission Accomplished.
Hell yeah, man.
I'd like
Big
to see
thing.
you be the official guy over there. Take that role over. You've been getting a lot of good interviews. The one with Joey Beltran. Wow, if y'all haven't seen that, Joey Beltran, the Executioner, the champion at BKFC, check out his interview with him. It's awesome. It's great
What
stuff.
about Tyler Goodjohn in his bathtub from Vegas?
The man does an interview in his bathtub. What was he drinking? I forgot
He was
already.
drinking a Corona.
Corona,
Big,
yeah.
During the pandemic. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
just fucking beautiful. You
Yeah.
can't write that shit.
In any case, Kyle, you're looking pretty dapper there.
Thank you, Bob. Not quite as Ric Flairish as you, but I tried.
You know what? Let's just give him one. You ready? Let's just give him one.
Screenshot that, people. You're gonna want to save that.
Yeah. So what did it, and then like I said, 40 events for UFC. What was the most thing, I mean, without getting into any of your awards picks, what stood out to you the most? What was the big standout moment, even if it wasn't a fighter, even if it was an announcement?
For me, it was the resurrection, the construction of Fight Island, I think.
Awesome.
I think that's the story of 2020. The almighty UFC figured out a way to isolate themselves from the world and continue to put out fights. And as you just said, 40 events in a year plagued by a pandemic. That's just incredible.
Dominic Crisanti, you are 100% right. I totally look like a poker dealer, and I love you, brother, and I miss you, and that's the truth.
At least he doesn't look like a
He's
couch.
so right, though. I mean, right?
Shuffle up and deal.
In any case, yeah, I'll say for me just when we heard UFC was going to start putting on events, we're all excited. We're like, all right, so and I kind of looked at that as like, all right, so this pandemic isn't too serious.
Right.
And then it started creeping in and creeping in and creeping in, the mask mandates, and then a couple of friends of mine, one of our favorite co-hosts, Daddy, Sean Shamrock, Gunboat, he actually got it, and it was like, oh, wait a minute.
It didn't get close to home till just recently with me, and I'm not going to say any names, but I had aunts and uncles and cousins, in-laws, like all of a sudden, boom, 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 everybody started getting it. And it affects everybody differently. Some people it didn't do shit to them. Some people ended up in the hospital, you know what I mean? It's like, take the shit serious. I mean, keep being as safe as possible, and it'll all be over soon.
Will it?
I hope so. I just keep
15
saying that.
days to flatten the curve, and this and that, and all the shit the government like. I'm not going to get too deep on that, but it's not going away. Somebody's keep pumping it into the damn air or into. I don't know. I don't trust any of it. It's scary.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I'm just hoping that, like honestly, for me, 2020 was rough for a lot of people. 2020 was great for me, I thought. I got to spend a ton of time home with the family. Homeschooling my kids was fun as hell, even though a lot of people bitch about that. I had a good time with it. I was British or Irish 90% of the time. I was, I'd be like, no, that's the wrong number. You know what I mean? And my kids would look at me like I'm an
With the
asshole.
hat and that on, it worked. Keep doing it. I mean, shit.
Now go get your fucking shine box.
I was thinking more Michael Bisping.
Michael Bisping, yeah. Yeah, I'm drunk. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, let me take a second. Ashley Merity, Jeremy Barboza, Matthew Gerard Hall, Carl Peterson, and as I said, Dominic Crisanti. Thank you guys so much for joining us on the first episode of 21.
My boy Carl says, nice jacket, who shot the couch?
An old 70s couch, too.
Man.
Oh, but hey, you know what? Before I start getting in on the insults, can you pick any weapons you might have out the fuck? I know you got one somewhere.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh, wait, you did.
It's a little pocket.
Folks, make sure you unarm this guy before you start talking shit. Now, you peaky blind looking. It's still in reach, though. I better go easy.
All right.
All right.
Now that we're all safe.
Justin LaBelle, Chris Michael. What's happening, brothers?
Yep.
In any case, one great year. As far as like the only hope we were going to get ended up being like we were saying, mostly UFC. So let's break down a couple of awards.
Let's do this. Where do you want to start?
Wherever you want.
Knockout? Knockout of the year?
Do KO of the year. Let's do KO. What do you got?
KO of the year. I don't know if you had some. I had a few options that I was running through. I had Joaquin Buckley's spinning back kick on
For sure.
Impa Kasangane. That's hard to say. I've been practicing that one. Kevin Holland absolutely murdering one of my all-time favorites, Jacare Souza from his ass.
Just recently, yeah. It was
Just recently.
Good stuff.
Cody Garbrandt and Sugar Sean O'Malley, both with walk-off knockouts at UFC 250. But I know me and you had different winners on it. I'll just tell you who mine was real quick and why, and then you can go ahead and rock out with your pick. I had Cody Garbrandt, and it's because for me, Cody Garbrandt was coming off the worst year, or the worst stretch of his career, losing 3 in a row, getting knocked out all 3 times. Everybody had written the man off, and he came out there. He went toe-to-toe Assunção in the first round, came out in the second round, showed footwork as he did back in the day when he was fighting Dominic Cruz. He was moving around in that cage as if he was fighting Cruz again.
Totally agree.
And then when Rafael Assunção was trying to, impose his offense on him at the closing seconds of that round, Cody dropped his hands down, reached back to that cage, ducked 3 straight punches, powered up, dropped one on the chin, watched him go into rigor mortis state, and then walked off like he owned the fucking place. So my guy would be Cody.
I absolutely cannot dispute that one. It was great the way he timed it. I love how he reached back for the fence. He didn't grab the fence, as a lot of people say. He reached back and used it as for 2 reasons: to get exactly where he could range his punch so he could throw it and not drag the fence. But he also used it in case, as Assunção threw a punch, he could stop himself from just getting slung back, just in case. That way he could leave his hands down and do that looping, like you said, just detonate the TNT right to Assunção. And when Assunção fell, his fucking... Did you notice his leg lifted up like a girl on her first kiss in like cartoons? I don't mean to insult the man, but it was absolutely
like a Bugs Bunny cartoon.
Yeah. Derek Barrett, Michael C. Mish. Hello, folks.
Yeah.
So, moving on from that, I mean, if
You had
it's
somebody
really hard
different,
for me, and let me just go off before any of that. Let's talk about 11-2-0 Killian Chaos Williams with 2 really good knockouts back to back. If you don't mention him, I mean, Razak and then Alex Morano, 2 great knockouts. You got to mention him. Although my pick, and I can't believe this because you guys all know Cody G is my man, and that knockout was amazing. But nobody beats Joaquin Buckley's. That fight night was doing okay, decent, and then that happened, and it kind of changed the whole outlook of everything for a long time. The way he caught that and returned the kick, and you hear the kick hit, when you hear his foot hit the chin, it's like
a wooden bat hit.
You know he's done. You know the fight's over.
It was a crack. It was a straight up. And then, just like Assunção's foot coming up, Impa's hands were locked up in the air. Like that.
Yeah, it kind of, his body felt, right, that knockout rigor mortis kicked in, but his body was falling so fast it like left his hands behind.
Yeah, it was incredible, and I can't argue with that. It was just like, for me, I was just breaking it down. I guess maybe the fanhood of Cody kind of played a little bit. But
Same with me, huge fan of his, and that's why I wanted to pick him. But just because of, I mean, anytime we can see somebody get punched and knocked out, it's amazing. But anytime I can see somebody use a foot to knock somebody out, it's craziness. We've seen a lot of Chuck Liddell do a lot of things like that. But I can't go I can't put a stamp on either one of them without mentioning Chaos Williams.
Yeah.
Really, really good run he had. He could have easily been in there. He had a couple of fights couple of knockouts. 2020 was pretty good to him.
And you know, and like, we already talked about this being a UFC heavy show because it's the year of 2020 and it's the year of UFC. But Aaron Pico fans would tell you that the 2 knockouts that he had over at Bellator in 2020 were absolutely devastating
Yep.
knockouts too. If I was going to drag somebody from another organization into our nominees, it would be Aaron Pico. Notable mention to him, but he doesn't come close to Buckley or Cody or Chaos. So
It's good to give the Bellator guys an mention, though. I mean, they got to get that. Sam Siegler is watching. Sam, what's up, brother? What else you got? Let's move to Female of the Year. This we kind of went back and forth on this. I kind of changed up my mind on this a few times. This is one where you can't really be wrong. But as we also discussed, only a couple, and only one in particular, really had a lot of fighting going on.
right.
Not counting 219, 2020 wasn't a big year for WMMA as far as UFC.
Now, did you have a few names that you were kicking around as far as like who you were considering? I had 4, maybe 5.
I had easily 4, and everybody obviously, and I know where you're going to go with this, so I'll cut your rate off. Angie Hill is obviously on the top of that list, but I also think at a very close second, and if somebody gave her first, I could not disagree with Valentina Shevchenko. Look at what she did with Shu Kagan. Look at what she did with Maya. And Willie Zhang, at one fight, what more do you got to do in a year besides destroy my girl Joanna? So
Yeah.
she's got to get mentioned. Amanda Nunes, I don't care if she only had 1 fight or not, she is the GOAT. So you can put her in it next year even if she didn't have any fights. But obviously I'm going to go with Angie Hill, who had one hell of a year. Great attitude, showed improvement in every single fight.
So Angie was your pick.
Sure.
I'm not going to disagree with that. Angela Hill would be my pick as well. She fought 4 times this year. She went 2-2. She got absolutely robbed in the Claudia Gadelha fight. If you go to any website, look up. I think it's MMADecisions.com is one where they will pool all the experts and all the fans and all this. 75% of the world thought Angela Hill beat Claudia Gadelha, but 2 out of 3 judges sitting ringside that night didn't somehow. And then she came out and fought Michelle Watterson. Go to those same websites. Go to Verdict. Go to MMADecisions.com. 60% of them had her beating Michelle Watterson. That was a closer fight. So if the judges didn't absolutely suck at their fucking jobs, you know what I mean? We've been talking about this for years. If the judges didn't suck, Angie Hill would be 4-0. And she would have fought a 5th time if she didn't catch COVID. She was going to fight Tisha Torres in December. So, you know... And she was also on the desk as a UFC analyst this year.
She did amazing speaking.
Amazing. She did a great job there. She kind of became one of the faces of women's MMA.
She wasn't afraid to laugh and smile on broadcast. And you only see the guys that been there a while, the Michael Bispings and the Karen Bryants and stuff, and they'll joke and they'll giggle and they'll laugh. And it makes it comfortable for us to watch. But a lot of the new people, Anthony Smith, he's afraid to do it. He's very... You notice that?
Yeah.
Yeah, she did great. I mean, I should have mentioned that too. I mean, because you're so right on that. Her broadcasting was absolutely awesome.
Yeah, I just think that she became an absolute asset to the company.
Sure, good point.
Absolute asset to the company, which 100% makes her my female fighter of the year as well.
How about her pre-fight, her weigh-ins and all that? It's always something, and it's interesting to see. She gets into it. It's awesome.
She's great. And, like, just for me, because you didn't mention, I had 2 other women that was considering. My second choice would have been Valentina Shevchenko, by the way.
Yes.
With the 2-0 defending her titles, she is cementing herself onto the Mount Rushmore of female MMA fighters with what she's putting together as a resume. But you can't forget about Chris Cyborg going 2-0 this year, dismantling Julia Budd, winning the Strikeforce title, becoming the only woman ever in MMA to win a Strikeforce, Invicta, UFC, and Bellator.
Valid point.
So she has that. Nobody else has done that. And also, God, I hate saying this girl's name, but the other Chinese fighter in the UFC, Yan Zhonan, she went 2-0 this year. Zhou Yan. She beat the shit out of Claudia Gadelha and Karolina Kowalkiewicz to go 2-0 this year, jumping herself from number 10 to number 3 in the rankings.
Kind of looked under her radar too. I missed out on her.
Right,
Too.
so
Yeah, good point.
she's just another one that I was looking at, but really none of them were close to Angela Hill in my eyes.
Let me just take a second to say hello to Joel Lefrancois and Dangerous Dustin Adams in the house. How you doing, brother?
What up, Joel?
So you say hi to my friend Dustin too.
Hi, Dustin.
Jesus.
Joel's my
Sure.
son's godfather.
No shit, huh?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm his best friend. Can I borrow some money, Joel? Hook a brother up. So in any case, I'm gonna give you my female upset of the year, and then you give me your male upset of the year. What do you think? What do you think?
Ooh. Okay, go ahead.
This one I had to think about it too for a few minutes because I could remember it in my head, and I'm like, no, who was that? And I finally remembered because she was on a 3-fight losing streak, talking about Shayna Dobson.
Oh, okay.
I mean, 3-fight skid facing Agrapova, who was on a 3-fight winning streak. And she just ran into the buzzsaw that
She
suddenly
wrecked
was,
her. Yeah.
that was suddenly Shayna. And she got it done and put herself right back in contention.
Right. And then immediately found the camera to let everybody know.
Yeah. I don't follow the whole thing, but she definitely it would be my comeback of the year. Has to be.
You know who I thought you were going to say? And you say an upset of the year? Is it upset? Female upset of the year?
Yes. Yep.
The upset of the year for me in the female division, you know which one? I didn't even do that category. But Roxanne Modafferi over Macy Barber
Oh, yes.
would be my choice for that
Yep.
one because Macy Barber was the fast riser at 125 division. Everybody thought her fucking nickname's the future.
I almost wrote that one down.
Right, her nickname's the future. Everybody thought they're feeding Roxanne to another up-and-comer, and Macy's just going to rush through her. And then Roxanne manhandled her the entire fight. Yes, she blew out her knee and then tried to blame the entire loss on that afterwards, which was
right.
kind of petty. But I would say Roxanne Modafferi in that. And as far as male upset of the year, shit, man. You know which one? Listen, it's probably by betting odds and whatnot. It was probably way closer, but I'm pretty sure, and I guess I'm going off the beaten path with the word upset. I think Justin Gaethje upset the entire MMA world when he demolished Tony Ferguson in the main event of their pay-per-view.
Yep.
So as far as like betting odds goes, Gaethje was probably pretty close in that fight as far as that goes. But as far as like upsetting the masses, ruining everybody's Khabib versus Tony dreams once again, Justin Gaethje over Tony Ferguson would be my upset of the year for male.
Nice. I would also, on that Gaethje note, I could put him as male of the year. It was a close thing for me with there's so many you could choose from, and we had to break it down to as little as possible. I would have loved to put Glover Texera in there because he's a favorite of mine. So he's a mention of mine, but in all reality, it would be Izzy or Gaethje. And I would probably give it to Gaethje just for his amazing dismantling of somebody we had never, ever, ever, ever seen be treated like that. And that's got to stand for something, man. No matter if you like that guy or not. Tony was a bad dude for a lot of years. He understood the fight game. He was in pocket genius. He was out of pocket genius. Timing, everything, he had it. And Gaethje went in there and completely dismantled him. And I guess my, for male, would be, if I had to make an honorable mention, once again, let's go to Bellator, let's talk about Lima. Although, it wasn't his greatest year ever, but he is still the biggest name over at Bellator as far as I'm concerned, so I got to mention him as well.
Yeah, well, we're going male fighter of the year now?
Sure.
My male fighter of the year is a different choice, and we disagree on this one, but I had to go with Deiveson Figueiredo. Deiveson Figueiredo went 4-0. He beat the shit out of Joseph Benavidez twice. Absolutely wiped him off the fucking face of the planet two times. Then he went on to fight Alex Perez, dominated him, submitted him, and then 21 days later fought Brandon Moreno and put on one of the best fights of the year. Supposedly had food poisoning the night before, went to the hospital before the Moreno fight. I don't know if all that really makes a difference, but my male fight of the year would be Devison Figueiredo.
I think he should have disposed of Moreno so much faster than he did. I can't believe he gave him fits, but I understand it. Styles make fights and timing and et cetera, so I don't really hold that against him. But let me just take this minute to say hello to Margaret Gagnon Phillips, hello to John Naples, and how do I say this? Dual sponsored badass Shins of Steel, Matt Lightning Miles in the house. What's up, Matt? We love you, brother.
Lightning going for that belt, baby.
Super huge news. 21's going to be awesome for Matt, which is good for us.
Yeah, he's coming for that strap. That's what I'm talking about, man. I love it.
And we appreciate you. Roberval Garcia is watching. How you doing, sir?
Now, can I ask you this? When you were going over male fighter of the year, Israel Adesanya had to be on your radar, right? Going 2-0 against two absolute terminators against Yoel Romero.
Aaron Lopez, Aaron Savage Lopez. What's up, sir? How you doing, brother? Anyway, I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry. Israel Adesanya 2-0 against Yoel Romero in a lackluster fight, but he still beat Romero easy, and then he demolished Paulo Costa
Big time.
in 2 rounds and humped him afterwards, and then called out John Jones, and then called out the light heavyweight champion. Israel's star continued to rise in 2020. He was on my list of possibilities. And then also Kevin Holland going 5-0. Yes, it's Kevin Holland fighting lesser known guys, but what he did to Jacare Souza to finish off his 2020 campaign not only put him as would be my choice for breakout fighter of the year, but he was in my fighter of the year contention.
He'd be definitely all day my favorite fighter of the year. Anybody that could put a 5-0 record together in this mess. Well, from there to May, he was 5-0. From May to now.
May to now. And on top of being 5-0 since May, which when he fights in February, who the hell is he fighting? He's fighting Derek Brunson in February.
Yep.
When he fights Derek Brunson in February, that'll be 6 fights in 9 months, and that will be the fastest fighter to 6 fights in the history of the UFC, which is incredible. So, Kevin Holland, not only is he continuing to fight so constantly, he is good on the mic. He's got a good look to, like, that dude's the next big thing, I think.
Well, he's following us. We see this a lot, and it's not even in one gym. It's with gyms all over the whole globe. This new thing of streamlining talent. We see it with Hazmat too. Okay, I'm in this window of greatness right now. I'm firing on all cylinders. Get me as many fights as I can, and I mean get me 3 a night if I can. And we're seeing a lot of this. We're building huge records with guys that otherwise wouldn't have a big record. I'm all for it.
Yeah, he's incredible.
Arthur Callis, how you doing, my brother?
Yeah. So we had to throw his name out there for consideration too.
Michael J. Camper. What's up, brother? I know you ain't riding. Same thing with Arthur. It's too fucking cold to ride the hogs. Am I wrong, though?
Yeah. Now, let me ask you this about Kevin Holland, to get off the awards for a second. Israel Adesanya is about to fight Jan Blachowicz, right?
Mhm.
In March. If Israel is to beat Jan Blachowicz, which I don't know if he will, but he definitely has the talent and the skill, and he's not all that much smaller than Jan. He could do it. Say he beats Jan. Does he lock up the middleweight title for the entire 2021 year? And if that's because he might go after John Jones now,
Right.
and he has said that if I beat Jan and if I have to go to heavyweight and chase John Jones, I'll chase John Jones. Now, with that said, do they strip Israel Adesanya of the middleweight title, or keep that belt on him like they did with Conor McGregor all that time? Is he such a big star? Leave the strap on him, leave him alone, let him not defend it for the entire year. Do they bring up an interim title, and if they do, does Kevin Holland get into that talk?
Gotta strip him of that title. That title's too important. It's not saying the Mac one wasn't, but in ways it's not as important. I get it. There's more money in that division, but no, you gotta strip Izzy of that title. There's too much for that. Too much more money for that.
But
title
say they
to be
don't.
paid.
Does has Kevin Holland in his year of fire in 2020, has he done enough? Say he goes out and beats Derek Brunson, is he that guy that's on their radar for an interim
Holland's
title fight?
biggest enemy, the most eloquent speaker you could ever think of, couldn't give me a reason why he shouldn't.
Right.
Absolutely not.
I think you'll see that
He's
guy in
as-
those talks.
Right. As far as breakout fighters, Kevin Holland is my breakout fighter at 21-5, and like I said, 5-0 since May. He is absolutely, and anybody thinking out there pointing to your screen and saying hazmat, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong.
Very wrong.
Ray Bones, what's happening, guy?
Ray Bones, those do not sports guys over there.
And Big Mike Chauvin in the house, my partner from Bong 30.
The big man himself.
Yes,
I mean, when you talk about breakout fighters of the year,
nice gray beard. What the? I'm getting old, Big Mike.
Besides Kevin Holland and Khamzat Chimaev, it's really hard to even come up with a couple other guys for breakout fighter of the year, and I struggled to find a few other ones. I put Sean O'Malley on mine, one because he already had a little bit of a buzz going in 2018, then he missed the entire 2019 campaign, and when he came out in 2020, it looked like it was going to be the year of the Sugar Show.
Yeah.
With his 2 back-to-back knockouts, a head kick knockout and the walk-off right hand on Eddie Wineland. He made it look like, oh, this is going to be his year, and then he came out against Chito Vera, got injured, got beat, and never fought again for the rest of the year. I think if he
And started running his mouth to try to
started
keep
running his
himself
mouth,
relevant.
saying he's still undefeated, which was
I don't even think he believed that. I don't understand that whole process. It's almost like he talked to it's almost like Ali Abdelaziz texted him, was like, "Here's how you handle this."
Ray Bones says pretty fly for a white guy. I think he didn't.
He means you.
He missed the beginning where I was going for that Peaky Blinder look. You know?
Holland is G as fuck. Aaron, you're right.
Thanks, Ray. Yeah. Other than Kevin Holland being the guy, Khamzat Chimaev fighting 3 times in 60 days, 2 times in 10 days, outstriking his opponent, 124-2 in the first fight and 68-0 in the second fight, and then coming out and dismantling Gerald Meerschaert in 17 seconds with 4 strikes. The goddamn guy landed 194 strikes to 2 in his year of 2020, Khamzat Chimaev, and he would have fought a 4th time in December. I think if he would have fought that 4th time in December and absolutely murked his opponent like he had been doing, maybe we would have been talking about him instead of Kevin Holland as the breakout fighter of the year. But
Breakout's as good as he could get. Up and comer. Okay, sure. Let's see more about him. The thirst the UFC has, because Eagle is gone, and they need to match that no matter what they can do. So anybody that even close to matches is that nationality and has a fighting career, that to me makes it to be more of a TV show than fighting. Do you know what I mean by that?
Well, they got to get their quota of
Right.
guy with beard and no mustache with a V and Z in his last name. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So, because, dang, if every possible person in Russia and, wherever else, without
Dagestan.
insulting anybody, right, if every Dagestani doesn't watch the fight, we're losing money. I get that whole mentality. But at the same time, just because, what are we going to do? We're going to go to Russia and just grab the guy with the best record and UFC's going to start telling us he's the greatest in the world. That's my only thing on that. I'm not trying to go too hard in the paint on him to get over that, to get past that.
And
I'm not a fan.
And he just pulled, and unfortunately, he was going to be the headliner for the first event of 2021, the first of 3 events at Fight Island in January. He was going to fight, who the hell was he going to fight? It's slipping my mind right now, but Khamzat pulled out because he caught COVID, so he's out again.
Right.
Come on, where's Mike Hunnell, man? Hit me with some knowledge. It was the 3rd time that they tried to book this fight. Kevin, it was, damn it, Khamzat Chimaev versus somebody, and they tried to book this fight 3 times in 2020, and it's really becoming the Tony Khabib 2.0 with Khamzat. So whoever it was, now Neil Magny.
I really don't know.
Yeah, Neil Magny's fighting.
How about
Hooker Felder. Oh, fight of the year?
What do you think?
I loved that fight. It wasn't my fight of the year because I think there's one obvious one, but Hooker Felder was great, and also Hooker Poirier was great.
Yes.
Hooker Poirier was phenomenal, and so like both of those, Dan Hooker. If you're not a fan of Dan Hooker, Leon Edwards. He was supposed to fight Leon Edwards.
Ah, gotcha.
Jesus Christ, I can't believe I didn't think of that. Yeah, if you weren't a fan of Dan Hooker before the year of 2020, you damn sure better have become a fan of that guy because he's
Jeremy Barboza, if I didn't say hello, sir, hello.
he is a solid top fiver in the lightweight division now, and he put on two absolute wars against very respectable guys in that division, and Dustin Poirier and Paul Felder. Love both of those fights, and if you guys haven't seen them, the Paul Felder fight was February 23rd at their fight night, and then the Poirier one was June 27th. So if you just look up those events, UFC Austin was the Poirier one. Just look up those events, watch the fights.
Hooker Felder was off the hook.
It was great.
It was off the hooker.
And even the lead up to that too, the face-offs and everything, their media appearances were great. Paul
That
Felder
was one where they were
had
matched.
that big thick red beard going at
Yup,
the time.
they were matched really amazingly better than even the matchmaker thought. They were matched so well together to give a great brawl.
And you know what I think it is too, and not to take any credit away from Dan Hooker because Dan Hooker is a great, incredible fighter. Paul Felder never puts on a stinker. You know what I mean? You basically put Paul Felder in against any top 10 guy in the lightweight division. He might not win that fight, but that fight's going to be beautiful to watch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I saw him live up in Boston a few years back, and I want to say he was fighting like Darren Cruikshank or something like that.
Jeremy Barboza, Leon Edwards. We got it.
Yeah, it took me a minute, and using my phone, I cheated. But,
Oh, is that what you were doing? Scribble over there.
No, I want to say it was against Darren Cruikshank, but you would think, Paul Felder versus Cruikshank, this is going to be whatever.
Hey, can I change the subject for a second?
Sure, man. This is your show.
What's up with your COVID beard,
Oh,
soldier?
okay, so I owe a great shout out to the number one headache in everybody's life right now, which is COVID-19. Because without a pandemic, I wouldn't be able to cover my face with a wraparound face guard
Oh, genius.
and get away with not shaving for a week of work. Therefore, if any of my superior officers or my bosses are watching, just kidding. I just grew this in the last couple days.
Do you know if any of your peers are taking on to this extremely logical logic?
As a matter of fact, I did this earlier in the pandemic. I did it for like 2 weeks, and it wasn't like, it was about where it is right now when I shaved it off. And after like the second week, I was walking out to my truck and I had the shield on, and this other master sergeant's looking at me as I'm walking to the truck, and I'm looking at him, and we're looking at each other, and I go, "What?" He like smiled. I go, "You think I'm fucking crazy, right?" He goes, "You are fucking crazy." He's like, "You haven't taken that thing off in days." I went, "Whew." He was like, "You're a fucking genius." He's like, "What?" He's like, I could have been doing that this whole time. I'm like, "Yeah, well."
So the new 2021 style is going to be a mask-shaped beard.
Yeah, it's whatever you can get under the mask. That's it. And I'm gonna keep running with this thing. So.
I remember working at AZ Corporation. I had to have it at a 1/4 inch at all times so I could have a mask on. And to actually get your pressure fit test, I had to have it shaved clean.
Yep.
And I kind of had the thing going with the boss. Hey, I don't never go in the tanks. I don't never go in there. I don't really need to wear the respirator. How about I just get to grow my beard because I'm Bob Beauvais and I need a goddamn beard. And it works for me. I never went in any
Really?
confined space ever once. The boss, Paul Casey, love you, brother. Thanks. He always liked to feel it, though. I don't know what that meant, but if he wanted to feel it and get me out of work, I was okay with it.
As long as it was just your beard.
Never once in the whole time I worked at AZ Corporation had to have a respirator on.
You know what it is though, too. Like, with like, as long as you line it up and keep it trimmed, I don't see why we can't grow beards. It doesn't look unprofessional. And then you go overseas to any base overseas, and you see the German military and the Australian military and the French. You see all these different other countries. They all have beards. It's the Americans are walking around with their faces, and they.
I think a lot of that is though because of the mind control, for lack of better words, that the military puts on its enlisted.
Yeah.
They can't be so deep and dirty over here. It's just one way to control you. It takes away your personality, your personal self. Like me, this is me. Bob has a beard, a goatee. They want to take that away from you, crush you completely down, and build you back up.
Right.
And none of that has anything to do with your beard, which to me would be like, huh? Sure it does.
It like reminds me of what I'm doing. Like one of my dad's buddies was in the military back in like the 60s or whatever, and he had the real long hair. And like obviously you can't have long hair in the army, so the way he got away with it was like using like he called it like dippity doo or some fucking shit, where he would like soak his whole hair in it and then like glue it to his head, so it looked like his hair was all short, but it was basically like plastered to his fucking head. So even when he took his hat off, it looked like his hair was cut short. And then he'd get off duty, go home, wash it, and his hair would be down to his shoulders. It was like
classic.
Yeah, there's ways around everything, man. I just saw something though that the military is considering easing up on haircut and grooming restrictions. Mainly, I think it's for the women because like pulling their hair back fucks up their hairline and all this stuff. But I really think they're gonna like ease up on the shaving shit, as long as you look presentable. You know what I mean? You can't have a Mike Beltran.
Do you Beltran trim?
Yeah, you can't have a Mike Beltran trim.
For me, and I've said this at like AZ Corporation was a good part of it. I got a scar like here to here.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing serious. It's not disfigured or anything like my fucking orbital and my nose. It's not like deformed, but it is a scar. So like if I shave clean, I got a propensity to cut right here and right here.
Oh yeah.
So I avoid it. It's just gonna make every time you cut it, the scar's gonna get a little worse, obviously. So you'll never really see me clean shaven except for that time. Julie, how long ago was that where I shaved and I was Ric Flair?
A little over 2 years ago.
A little over 2 years. So this is only 2 year growth. No, I shaved.
No, you shaved it since then too.
All right, never mind, folks.
Looking like Ric Flair tonight too.
David Wayne, hello, sir. How are you doing? Josh and Amanda. Josh and Amanda.
Josh and Amanda.
That's a loving couple.
That's
you two
loving
are
couple.
awesome. Thanks for the support.
Holy big word for you.
Got a little deep for me, man.
Yeah.
Got a little deep. So what do you got going on? Tell us a little bit about the fastest rising show on the planet, and I'm not talking about Peaky Blinders.
No, it's I got
Mission accomplished, folks.
I got
Check it
this
out.
little
Real
thing going. Mission accomplished. That's another shout out to being stuck at home this year. Really, you pushed me to do this a long time ago. You kept saying, "Do that combos with Kyle thing. Do that combos with Kyle thing." It catches on. People like it, and they did. And then I was gonna just run with the combos with Kyle name. And like, if you go on YouTube and just type in combos with Kyle, there's fucking a dozen of them out there. So I played off my name. I went with the mission accomplished thing, and man, the guests that I've been getting have been incredible. I got a big show coming up this Wednesday at 10 p.m. I know it's a little late, but it's the only time I can get him because he's out in California. So he's going to be doing it 7 p.m. California time, 10 p.m. my time. John Fitch.
John Fitch.
John Fitch.
All right, I'll stay up.
Yeah, John Fitch will be on the show at 10, and I'm looking at getting Britton Hart on at 8 o'clock that same night. And Britton is now contract signed, sealed, and delivered, fighting Paige Van Zandt.
PKFC
Yeah.
is blowing up, folks.
She's fighting Paige Van Zandt Super Bowl weekend, so can't wait to talk to her about that opportunity and what it's going to do for her name and her stardom to beat a person like Paige Van Zandt in the BKFC ring. And then wait till we pick the brain of John Fitch at 10 o'clock. Holy smokes.
Are you going to get my boy Aaron Savage Lopez on the show?
I'd love to have Aaron Savage Lopez on.
He's got a fight coming up too.
Another guy I've been chatting with, and I think he's going to be coming on soon. Brandon Lambert should be on pretty soon.
Awesome.
He was messaging back and forth the other day.
Yeah, he's a good dude. I like him.
Yeah, he's a funny guy.
He's hungry. He's telling everybody.
He wants it. He
Right,
wants to
he's
fight
pretty
everyone.
much begging Kevin Smith. He's begging David Feldman. He wants it. Give it to him.
He said literally anybody from 135 to 155, anyone.
I just heard, I was reminded of a story I heard, not to go too deep in the pain here, but I was reminded of a story the other day watching Chael Sonnen, how one of the fighters on Ultimate Fighter, for whatever reason, backed out of the fight, and he went into the house and he said, we're going to pick one of you fighters, we're not sure who yet, and as he went to leave, one of the fighters followed him out the door and said, I want this fight, this is my fight, I want this fight. So Dana White gave it to him. So he wanted the fight. He clearly wanted the fight. Well, if you go to Brandon Lambert's social media, he wants to fight. He's begging everybody for a fight. Nobody wants to smoke for whatever reason.
Yeah. He was on the Tyler Goodjohn episode.
He was
Mission
in
Time.
there. He was causing some ruckus.
He was going hard in the comments section.
We appreciate you, brother.
Drop
You were going crazy in there.
Yeah. He was really asking for that one. So I think there's a lot going on with BKFC, and they put out a hell of a product, and I would really love to be the spot for all those guys to come through and get their names out, because I tell everybody, I said it a million times, watch one BKFC event. Pick one, watch it.
Anyone. Beth Livernoise, how are you doing, gal? I hope you and Dano are doing great. We miss you guys. It's good to see a new weapon in their household, I should say. Some fellow Patriots.
Ooh.
Good to see you. Thanks for coming in, Beth. That's awesome, gal. So
Can I ask you something about this BKFC?
sure.
How do you feel about the crippler, Chris Lieben, fighting one more time in there?
People who know me from back in 2000s when I was falling in love with this sport,
I love Lieben too.
I've loved him since early, 2001 versus Otto Olsen at Battle in Seattle in Washington. I do believe it was Battle in Seattle. That's when I first seen who he was. This is long before Ultimate Fighter, long before any of this. And he wasn't called the Crippler, he was called the Cat Smasher. I'm a fan is what I'm saying. I love the man. Love the man, even though he's not very good to me on social media. He never really gave a shit about. But it doesn't matter. It's beside the point. I hope he stays home. He's doing real good as a ref right now. His life's doing better than ever right now. He's got none of the fighting stress. I don't need to see him fight again.
I thought he announced that he was retiring after
That's
his
when the
last
heart. Okay, so he came up with some medical issues for his heart. Dealt with those.
Cleared him.
Literally cleared him. And when you suddenly think you're never going to fight again, and then you get medically cleared. I mean, it's kind of like you think it's somebody that you think it's the stars and the earth and the moon are aligning to tell you to fight again. I would think.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to walk away from something you love, and anybody who knows Chris Lieben, that dude was born to fight. So
how's our sound, folks? And I totally agree. I just think his better days are gone.
Right.
His timing's slow. He's I hate saying this, but he's punch drunk now.
when I was scrolling, through my Facebook timeline, and I saw that pop up, or maybe it was Instagram, maybe he posted it on Instagram. I was like, is this real? And I had to check it. I'm like, no, he's not fighting anymore. This can't be real. And then boom, there it is. It's fucking real. I mean, Lieben's getting back in there in February on the Super Bowl card.
They're putting on guns. Killer.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate even saying that, because if you compare the two, Chris Lieben is far superior boxer, a far superior combatant. But the times have caught up with my man.
Do you think,
John Ivantis.
Do you think that Paige Van Zandt has the boxing skill to succeed in the ring with no gloves on?
Can I see it and then answer you?
Yeah.
Can I watch it?
Because we've only seen her in the UFC cage, and she has put on some good performances, but she does bleed.
We see, okay, right. So we keep thinking she's gonna get smashed up and she's gonna bleed a lot. And then it's like, well, no, she kind of did that
She already did that
already.
Yeah, it's just but she uses a lot of kicks, a lot of knees. She grapples. This is not any of that. This is boxing with no gloves on.
Right.
You know what I mean? You step in there, she's going to be fighting Britton Hart. Britton Hart is not afraid to dirty box, clinch and strike. If you guys watch the Beck Rollins fight with Britton Hart, they slugged it the hell out. And
You can get away with more dirty boxing.
right, and I'm wondering,
which I think is awesome.
yeah, I'm really curious to see how she does in there. Somebody needs to let her know that she's not allowed to kick her knee, because she was in that press conference going, oh, I'm training great, everything's going good, I've been working on my taekwondo, my kicks and my knees are so strong right now, and I'm thinking, you're not kicking or kneeing anybody anytime soon.
Right.
What are you doing?
Right.
Work on them hands. How about that?
Well, I mean, PVZ is among the gals that use that fame and the fact that they have a body that people are turned on by to further themselves. And me personally, I don't like that. I'm not for that. You see the same thing with men who, okay, I work out. Working out's my thing. So every single fucking picture you see of me is of me flexing or looking like this or looking like that. Same idea. That's my problem with WMMA in those cases, when it becomes all like, kind of like with Nunes, where she put the belt on her breast and then around her vagina and was like posing, like, what are you doing? You're a fighter, not a model. That's my one issue with PVZ, but like we said, she's willing to take a punch. She don't mind getting a little bloodied up.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see. I can't say either way. Let me
That's-
see her fight.
That event, I'm wondering who else is going to be on that card, because just having the PVZ, Britton Hart.
So Aaron says we are a little quiet and cutting out a bit. Dang it.
What? Well, that sucks.
Can you hear this? The sound is a bit quiet. What the Why are we losers?
Check. Testicles. Testes. 1, 2, 1, 2. Now,
Good thing the show's almost over.
right, hey, Queen Margaret is in the chat room asking if we can speak a little bit about boxing, or should we kick her out of the group?
We don't cover boxing here, Margaret. We love you though, and if you can get Kyle to answer a boxing question, I'm all for it.
I will tell you this. What she's talking about is King Ryan Garcia. If anybody hasn't seen this kid, he has a very strong social media presence. He's always posting videos. He has maybe the fastest hands on the planet. He has ultra power. I don't know what his record is off the top of my head, but I want to say it's like 20 or 21-0, 22-0, and he's knocked every fucking buddy out.
Okay, David Delgado says no sound issues. David, you're my new favorite person in the chat, sir.
That's my boy Dave. Thanks, Dave.
Sancho Mello, what's happening, brother?
Yeah.
Margaret, you said you're still one of my favorites, Margaret.
Right.
I just
No, that fight was last night, and he hit this kid. You don't need to watch the fight, because it is what it is. Ryan Garcia, until he fights a top tier guy, we'll never know how really good. This kid's amazing, but he's I don't want to say cans, but he's been beating guys that aren't up to his level.
Courtney Marie.
Hi, Courtney. It's my sister from another mister.
Good thing I was polite.
No, he hit this kid with a left hook to the ribs that made me want to throw up in my couch last night. So, folded the dude like a chair with a left hook to the ribs. King Ryan Garcia wins another one, and I would really like to see where this kid goes. Other than that, that's enough boxing talk.
Yeah, I can't get behind it. There's too much hoopla. There's too many belts. There's too many sanctioning bodies. There's too many people like Don King and Bob Arum. That's as deep as I'll get into it. It's not for me. No, thank you. Plus that, I can't keep up with MMA. You want to throw in more combat sports?
Yeah.
MMA is all of them to me. You don't need, oh, hey, on this one, we can only do one thing. Like I'm going to start a new organization. It's called, well, this kind of sounds stupid because I am starting a slapping contest, so that I'm gonna throw it back on what I'm about to say, because I am starting a slapping contest. A lot of you who know me know this is actually going to happen, and it's going to be cool. But
Yes.
MMA is the epitome of all of it. It is all of it. Boxing to me is, for reasons I stated, I won't beat it to death. It's far behind. That's why we all know who the Paul brothers are.
Mm-hmm.
That's why.
That's the state of boxing right
That's
now.
where boxing's at right now. They need MMA, social media stars, stars who fight anybody they can get their hands on to get a fight around. And
Literally.
the dummies in society, the dummies in Hollywood are falling for it. I've heard everybody call out one of the Paul brothers these days, making them more famous. You idiot, you don't get it.
Right. Boxing, and the thing is, if you really dive into some boxing, they're putting on a lot of fights. There's more boxing this year than in the last few years. It seems like twice a week it's on ESPN or Fox Sports. But there is a lot of talent out there, but nobody knows who the hell they are because of the crook promoters don't know how to handle their talent. And
There can only be one star.
like you just said, the biggest names in boxing in the year 2020 were a 54-year-old man who hadn't fought in 16 years, a 51-year-old man who hadn't fought in 3 years, and 2 YouTubers. There's your state of boxing.
Right. It speaks
in the
for
toilet.
itself, whether you like it or not.
Let's get Sean Shamrock to box Jake Paul, huh? Yeah. What do you think? Shamrock, get a call out.
I
Everyone
wonder
else is
what
doing it.
Gunboat would think about that, because he hits from some unorthodox angles that you just can't believe. Sean's got this weird way, and it's just after you strike and go back to whatever your center position is. It's almost like he's leaning back.
When he's throwing?
No. It's you think he leans back and you think he's about to strike, but he's not. He's leaning back and then sucking up distance and then striking. He's got the weirdest, almost unorthodox footwork. But if you talk to maybe a Kemp Ward, he'd say, no, that's what we teach him to do.
Yeah.
But anyway, Sean Shamrock is no joke on the feet. He's good.
Sean
Wow.
Shamrock versus Jake Paul 2021.
I can make that happen. Speaking of Shamrock, him and I, as I just alluded to a second ago, are working on a slapping contest. It's called Savage Smack. We're hoping to get something going hopefully early this summer, assuming this COVID thing calms down. We're looking to have a couple events. First 2 events will probably, even if the COVID thing is over, we're probably not going to have a big audience. What we're going to do is sell it on the Boisvert MMA Roundhouse for probably $5 a ticket. And then have buy-ins. Each contestant will buy in, and then that money will go to the winner, and then anything made on the page will kind of be ours.
Do you have an
Separate.
idea on how many competitors?
Well, here's the 2 first events in a nutshell. Okay, there's going to be 10 guys, figure. And now the problem with this is weight classes right now. I am trying as hard as I can to get this to one general weight class. That's going to be almost impossible, but I've got to do this to make it work money-wise. Okay, so 5 guys, that's 10 guys, that's 5 rounds, okay? So, 2 of those events will come up with 2 winners, right?
Yeah.
So, do that event twice, that'd be 2 winners for $500, whoever wins, $500. Now, teaming up with my great friend Rex, and I hope I'm not jumping ahead here, but we're talking about possibly, maybe during one of his intermissions, putting the championship matchup.
Wow, that'd be awesome.
So I would have 2 events,
Mhm.
which would crown 2 semi-champions,
Yep.
and then the final champion will be crowned at the middle of one of the awesome Donnybrook fight promotion shows in Maine.
It'll be champion
And
versus
Vermont.
champion, a la Ultimate Warrior versus Hulk Hogan,
Right.
1988.
And then we get some sponsors. We
That's
get a
fucking awesome.
Savage Smack belt made. We give it to the winner, and there we go.
Those smacking competitions are amazing.
I'm pushing that right now, and as some of you know, the idea is out there. There are smacking competitions out there. I'm kind of piggybacking onto some of those ideas. I'm going to put everything I got into making this work. This is my swan song. A lot of you guys don't know. We're probably not going to be, unfortunately, probably not going to do a lot of Boisvert MMA Roundhouses going forward, what with how busy Kyle is and everything else I've got my hands into right now. Unfortunately, we just had a great time doing this. I've loved doing this with you. We'll probably do it again, maybe we'll do it next year, roundup. And like I said, for Savage Smack, I'll be on to push the show and stuff. The page will always be here, but as far as Boisvert MMA Roundhouse podcast, it's going to be on a semi-permanent hiatus, and we love y'all, and we love everybody that helped us out, but unfortunately at the risk of insulting my own show, I've beat this dead horse enough.
I've had a blast doing it with you, man.
It's been so fun.
And if it wasn't for you pulling me onto this show, I don't know if Mission Accomplished would be a thing. I don't know, man. I always talked about doing a podcast for a long, long time. My wife always pushed me to do it, and I never ever got off my ass to. She's like, why do you know all this shit if you're not using the information to either entertain or whatever? And then I think I won like a trivia contest on one of your
Yes, you
shows.
did.
Went, got the tickets from you at the bowling alley down in Norwich. We met in the parking lot. I got the tickets. Me and my buddy went to the fights. And then like a week later, he messaged me and was like, "You want to co-host one day?" So you seem to know a lot. So, and I said, "Fuck yeah, man!" And ever since then, like
I
I've been
started-
doing this shit.
Oh, back in the early 2005, 6, 7, I started talking a lot on MMA Junkie Radio Show. And I liked it. And I liked talking. I liked analyzing. I liked being a broadcaster. And I always wanted to be a broadcaster. I took steps to be a broadcaster. This is always something I wanted to do. Bullshit about something I love. And years of that moves on, years of that moves on, and here we are. Like I said, though, it's a great thing to do. I just want to get to John Ivantis asked a question. I will be emceeing the whole event. I'll be putting it on, basically running it, and emceeing it because I like to talk a lot. As far as that, stay tuned. Go to Savage Smack page, and you can get all the info, and we're going to be updating that as soon as possible. We're still actually looking for some competitors right now. With that being said, I mean, I guess that's kind of about it. What do you got?
Just I'll carry on the torch. The Boisvert MMA Roundhouse logo will be all over.
And we
Mission
appreciate you for
Accomplished
that. It
page,
looks good up there.
for
We
sure.
love you for
Fuck
that.
yeah, man. I'll carry it on. Continue to watch. Since this will be taking a break for a little bit, check out the Mission Accomplished show. I'm not gonna let you guys down. So.
Just in from Matt Lightning Lyle, a new promo tonight. If you're not, look, everybody who's a friend of mine that's watching right now, take some time, do this for me. Watch Matt's promos. They're fire. I'm not just saying that because my logo's all over them and he's helping me gain as much fame or more than we're helping him by far. And we love you for that, Matt. Everybody, go over, check Matt, check out the promos, share them for us, like them for us. With that being said, I think that's just going to be...
We should tell them March. What's the date of his fight? March 21st. March.
in Mexico.
In Mexico, March 20th, 2020. Matt will be fighting for a world title against Flores, the Mexican champion there.
Yep.
So he'll be representing the red, white, and blue. We will be proudly sponsoring Matt in that fight. So
We will
support.
be backing him, win, lose, or draw. But Flores, watch your back because that left hand and those shins of steel mean business. He never takes a break. He trains, he trains, he trains. He could get up out of bed and do more than most people can do. Never forget that.
He's never not training. It's
Right.
amazing.
Matt, we love you, brother. We're so happy to be on this journey with you, man. And with that being said, I guess that's pretty much going to do it for the Boisvert MMA Roundhouse. Over and out. We love y'all.